whatever you're already and posts.
Okay, so this is my final project, just a journal. So my project concept is to produce weekly news round novel style videos. It will include young people discussing their thoughts and opinions on race and ethnicity and how that is represented in media. There will be short reviews offering opposite opinions as the information from the video taken from articles from BBC or newspapers, and then they will all be uploaded weekly onto a landing website, which will follow style newspaper. The main reasons I'm doing this is because of what I want to do as a career. So for a career, I want to be a journalist. So I'm hoping that this project will help develop the skills needed for that, such as presenting, getting used to talking to strangers, and asking questions as well. So again, why am I doing this? Is more the personal side of it. So it's always been a huge, like the news has always been a huge influence in my life. I'm quite inquisitive, so if I don't know the answer to something, I'm likely to go and try and find it out. Another main reason is my focus for Unit 12 was race and ethnicity representation in media and how negative it is, and I want to have a project where I can try and improve that. I know I probably won't fix it, but I'd like to try and start something, maybe just try and develop it, make it better. So for my research, I split it into 4 categories. So I've got aesthetics, contextual, general, and then my inspirations. My inspirations was Newsround and Roundabout. Newsround is more the editing style, so quick, short, like little articles as such, like little stories, to make it quicker. And then Gogglebox is more for the TV show side of things, because I want to go into broadcast and not necessarily print journalism. And it will also allow for for serious issues to be dealt with in a somewhat comedic way. There will be a limit to that because obviously there's a lot of issues going on right now that can't be dealt with in a comedic way because it would be offensive or people would take it the wrong way. The inspiration for the name, the Manchester Journal, Manchester part is more, originally it was because I was going to be focusing on Manchester, just stories in Manchester, but after struggling a lot of finding Manchester specific stories and looking into newspapers, I found that a place like newspapers such as Manchester News focus on other places as well. So the Manchester part has now changed to where it's being written and filmed, and the journal bit is just more of a word related to news, and I just like how it sounds as well. So contextual, I focused on newsround, rollabouts, newspapers, and then different TV channels that often use, such as ITV. I also looked at the representation of media, which is where I found a report from the NCTJ, which is the National Council for the Training of Journalists, which showed an increase in 2020 of female journalists. So that shows that the representation is improving, but it's not necessarily improving in all fields, which is where I found that only 8% of the journalists are from a Black and ethnic minority background. For typography, it's something that I've focused on a lot, because for a website, I needed a logo and also obviously the name. So I did look into how the fonts would affect things, and I found that serif and sans is very common. Serif is used because it's legible, which means the average person can read it. Obviously, when I say average, I do mean average. It does depend. for sans is often used for titles. It's most commonly seen in capitals. It's also used in like tabloid newspapers such as The Sun, and not necessarily broadsheet newspapers such as The Telegraph. I looked at similar fonts that wouldn't work, such as the three below, which wouldn't be acceptable because of how unreadable they are. It's important because typography can convey the mood and also how it's read, and it can change it. Professionalism is also another thing. So this is kind of a little bit of the fun part. I had quite a lot of fun with this. So when I started creating my logo after looking at typography, I decided to use Canva because it's free, and I wasn't familiar with Photoshop at the time as well. So on Canva there is an option to randomize color schemes and fonts. So that's where I started, where I did quite a lot of randomizing. It did take quite a long time, but after some feedback, the pink logo, this one, was found to be the favourite. But then I was also asked to consider the Manchester colours, which is in reference to Manchester Bee, so yellow and black. So then we went on to create these 9 logos, which started off as these 3, but then developed after more feedback. So after feedback, I was told smaller fonts, Manchester colours. So depending on how you look at it, it could be in terms of football or in terms of the bee. So I went with the bee because I just felt it fit better. I felt like it fit Manchester as a whole instead of people who follow football teams. And as someone who just really follows sports, I think it would be better as well not to subject it to that. So then I was also told to add an extra ring, and once I'd added the extra ring, I was asked to make it thinner, which is and then after a lot of going through and creating all these logos and different font styles, I found that version 7 was my favourite, but also I was reminded that it's very similar to Manchester Evening News logo. So then I went on to colour schemes. I looked at the main newspapers, newsrounds, and Gogglebox. So I found that dark blue is incredibly common. It's mainly because it's associated with trust and sense of security, I think. And I think that it is important to have that. Whereas yellow, which is what I've picked as my main colour, is more happiness and more like a supportive colour, which I think is what we need and fits in with my aim to make it more positive. In terms of newsround and Gogglebox, they kind of have varying logos. Newsround is a mix of colours, whereas Gogglebox has quite a few different photos. It's mainly a grey title over a city. So after that, I went on to general research, which was looking at Newsround's website and what could be improved. So I found that Newsround doesn't actually have captions, which is something that can be a risk of explicitity of people who have got disabilities or maybe need that extra support or just want the subtitles in general. And then also looked at programs. So target audience for Newsround is 5 to 17-year-olds, whereas for Gogglebox it's 16 to 24-year-olds. So it's quite a vast difference. I'll go up to my target audience after. So just this is just basic. So there's 3 spin-offs, Scholar Box, and there's target audience. So again, news rounds is 5 to 17-year-olds, Scholar Box is 16 to 24-year-olds. And then mine, I think, is going to be around 18 to 25-year-olds mainly, because I don't necessarily want to focus on children, but I do want to focus on young people. And it will be more inclusive with like having it on a website and digital, whereas newspapers are more aimed at the older, like older people. So yeah, so like gender and race and all that, it's literally any. But for mine, I'm mainly focusing on people from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds, but it's not limited to that, because obviously a lot of people are interested. The final outcome is to produce weekly news round style videos which have people discuss their thoughts and opinions on race and ethnicity and current affairs in the news right now. The intention is to hold them on the website and then write little reviews to offer other opinions. The overall objective is to and to
You've got little buttons because of its kind of format. You know how they use different like opinions, different people, and different like kind of age ranges. Is that the reason why you've got that Gogglebox feel as well?
I think it's more of a secondary inspiration. It's like there to feedback on if I want to change out the layout. But news round is more of a priority because I want it to be news-based because of what I want to do in the future. It's also there to allow for comedic comments, like I said. So
yeah.
There's more leeway with it.
Okay. Because South Access as a Gogglebox would have allowed you to be able to explore different audiences, which is why I get that feel that you were going to be asking different kind of ethnicities, cultures, religions, people from those kind of walks of life, and this would allow you to do that. And I take it that's why you've used that Gogglebox kind of approach. Is that the reason why?
There definitely will be, well, I'm hoping there will be thoughts and opinions from people from different ethnicities, backgrounds. That is kind of the aim. I want to include everyone. I don't want the focus to just be on one ethnicity, because the whole point of it is to improve the representation of people from those backgrounds and not just have it the same.
Okay. And then your landing website, I like how you discussed how you weren't going to use the actual Manchester when you think football and it's red or blue, and you've got like Manchester B. I think that's quite nice that you are going for because Manchester B essentially represents like community, isn't it, and a hive of people. So I quite like that you have those colours. I take it from your research, it's very much feedback based as to why you moved into those colours.
For the logo, it was definitely more feedback based. But I think that'd be taken as seriously because it's all like pretty and pink and not necessarily the serious colours like the dark blue and white and such as the other websites use. But I think that I still need an element why yellow is an option.
Was it actually filming people's comments?
Yeah.
How can you go about
So at the moment, I'm trying to focus on staying in college at the same place because I feel like I will have more time to explore university. But yeah, I'm trying to get used to filming random people, such like strangers and people I don't know, mainly within the college.
Oh, so you're going to do a casting call and invite people in and then show the person before they're
It's mainly like casting call, mainly because of a time limit, and also at one point I did go off schedule, and that's like kind of impacted it a little bit. So I'm just trying to do it as quick as possible now.
Yeah.
I'll still making.
It might seem like it's a long process doing a cast call, but you might get more meaningful video faster. Get people prepared to come in and talk about something in depth. Rather than like box is relatively low hit rate of action, like meaningful answers. So it might seem like a longer process, but you might get good results faster.
Okay. Yeah, I quite like your objectives to this. And like you said, you're not going to change the world through this, but actually just like kind of exploring it and seeing different opinions. And I know you said you wanted to educate people, so I take it the article that you're going to write on your landing page is the bit that's educate.
Yeah, it will have like the articles itself that I take the information from will be referenced, so that I can like use them, but not as like a copy type of thing. And the article, like my article, like review little thing, will be more as a to offer other opinions and to see all sides of the story, and not necessarily just take it as it is, because that's like what everyone is doing. Like there's a lot of stigma around people from different ethnicities, and I would want to try and change that, and not keep it all negative.
How are you going to get this out to people? So we've got a landing website, and
Yeah.
we've got our videos all stored on there, and our articles. How are we getting it out to the public?
So the website is the main thing, but there will be different, like the production process will be like on Twitter and Instagram, and then the final thing, like a link to the website and to the little videos from the posted weekly, will also be put on there as well.
So we're using social media. And have you figured out what social media you're going to use to target your audience specifically?
I think Instagram and Twitter would be the main two, and then maybe YouTube for the longer videos if you want to find out more information.
Have you considered trying to get it on the sheet? Oh,
I've looked into it. I haven't had information on it as of now.
that might be something worth researching. Any questions from the floor? No? Okay. Anyone from you, Daniel?